When I was a kid, there was a playbook for getting into the NFL. I knew what I needed to do in high school and in college to have the opportunity to play professionally. But when it came to becoming an astronaut, there was no playbook for that. I had to figure it out as I went along. Unfortunately, a lot of young people feel that way about many careers in science, technology, engineering, and math, what we call the STEM fields. With the Next Frontier Initiative Career Playbook series, we're out to change that. Base 11 is bringing you firsthand experiences, advice, and insights from leaders of some of the most exciting and promising companies on the planet. Today, I'm so excited to introduce you to someone who was responsible for bringing two of my dear friends, Doug and Bob, back to our planet safely. Gwynne Shotwell is the president and chief operating officer of SpaceX, where she oversees day-to-day operations, and they were the first successful private launch company to send Americans to the International Space Station. It's worth noting that commercial space travel, in addition to being really exciting, is expected to be a $2.7 trillion industry by the year 2030. So this is an exciting industry to be in now and in the future. Before Gwynne came to SpaceX in 2002, she worked for the Aerospace Corp, managing analysis of commercial space travel for both the Federal Aviation Administration and NASA. Forbes magazine has named her one of the world's 50 greatest leaders in 2018 and named her a power woman in 2019. Most recently, she was named one of Time magazine's most influential people of 2020, which seems perfectly accurate. Gwynne, thank you for taking the time to share your insights and knowledge with us.
Leland, I'm so pleased to be here, and it's great to be online with you.
It's always a pleasure. Well, I have a few questions for you. We have these, budding Gwynne Shotwells out there that want to run their own company one day. So why don't we go through these questions and see if you can help that next generation of explorers get to where you are. Now, Gwynne, why is aerospace a highly attractive next frontier industry for students and young adults to enter right now and for the next decade, in your view?
There's a couple of reasons why I think aerospace is the career field to go into. First of all, let's start at a high level. What could be more exciting than building a capability and operating a capability that allows people to travel among the stars, going to the moon, going to Mars, maybe even meeting other people out there in the cosmos? That's the high level reason why I think aerospace is the absolute right career to go into. Another reason, maybe a little closer to home, so to speak, is that our world is evolving technologically. And aerospace has always been on the forefront of technology development, and we continue to be. And I think you really want to be a part of that technology drive and that technology future. And the best way to do that is to basically become part of an industry that's driving it.
What do you see as the most significant growth opportunities in the industry broadly and as a potential employee or entrepreneur?
Just using SpaceX's specific examples right now, we are hiring hundreds of engineers. Actually, I think we've hired over 1,000 engineers this year alone. We're hiring thousands of technicians. That's people that are actually building the rockets and the spaceships. The engineers are designing them and analyzing them and making sure Bob and Doug can fly to the International Space Station safely and then get home, get back to Earth safely as well. So if you're very good with your hands and you want to build stuff, I strongly recommend a career field in engineering and basically technicians building this stuff.
Now, let's turn to the playbook. In order to maximize their chances for success, what are the most important steps an inspiring young person should take from middle school age through university to landing their first job at a company like SpaceX?
So this is going to sound a little scary, but I do want you to pay attention in math. You need to understand mathematics. You need to understand science, and physics is really important too. In fact, I'm a mechanical engineer with a master's degree in applied math, which is engineering analysis. And if I were to go back to school again today, I wouldn't because I'm kind of old, but if I were to go back to school, I would go get a degree in physics because it's really kind of the fundamental building blocks of engineering.
Now, Gwynne, you said you're old. We're the same age, so I don't feel like I'm old. When you go to space, you go back in time, so maybe you need to go to space.
I want to go to space. I definitely want to go to space.
Awesome. Gwynne, can you tell us a little bit about your own journey that has led you to this amazing position as president and CEO of SpaceX?
My mom, by the way, who was an artist, not an engineer, took me to a Society of Women Engineers event on a Saturday afternoon. And I fell in love with the mechanical engineer that spoke there that day. And I left saying, I want to be just like her. I want to do what she does. And so I'm going to be a mechanical engineer. And I think I was 15 years old when I decided that, 15 or 16. But I only applied to one university, Northwestern University, into their engineering program. And I applied there because at least when I went to school decades ago, Northwestern not only had a great engineering school, but they were really strong in theater, the arts, speech, media. And I wanted to make sure I would get a very well-rounded education. Engineers at that time had a bad rap for being super nerdy, hard to communicate with, and I wanted to make sure that I was good at a lot of different things. So I went to a university that offered, I think, a really great balance. Most university programs now are way better, and they do offer programs with good balance on both the engineering nerdy side and then the other things that really round you out as a person. I stuck with it through a master's degree in applied math, basically engineering analysis. And I got my first job in the automotive industry at Chrysler Motors. I had to pick up my bags from the Chicago area. I moved to Detroit and I started working on cars. And that was exciting, but actually I really wanted to move into the aerospace industry. So I got my advanced degree and then moved out to Los Angeles and have been working in the field since 1988.
Now, can you tell me a little bit about the woman that you met at that conference? What was it about her being a mechanical engineer that got you excited about that profession?
So I'll give you the professional answer, and then I'm going to give you the side answer, which was a huge part as to why I wanted to be a mechanical engineer. But I was really impressed with what she was doing. This was probably in the 1970s. She owned her own construction company, and she was very focused on designing, developing, and leveraging green materials for building. Keep in mind, that was a long time ago. So I was really impressed with that. And she was incorporating solar energy in the 70s. And, not many people had heard about that in that time frame either. So that's the professional reason why I wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to be like her. I wanted to own my own company and work on projects that would really help the world. But the second reason, the less professional reason, but the thing that attracted a 15-year-old girl to engineering was she had the best suit of anyone in that building that day. She was dressed to the nines, her shoes were perfect, and her bag matched. And I said, okay, I want to be a mechanical engineer. She's smart, she owns her own business, and she's really well dressed.
So she was adding the A to STEM for the arts, the creative side. Like I think you mentioned that to be a well-rounded person at Northwestern, you were able to do the arts and the sciences and the engineering parts, but it's that well-rounded piece and that flashy suit that engineer had on that really got you going, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay, can you include some of the top lessons learned, especially the obstacles that you've had to overcome that you believe can have the greatest impact on a young person's career success and personal fulfillment?
So the first thing that I want everybody to understand is when you do anything that's new and different from what you've experienced in the past, it's always going to be scary. Everything's going to feel scary. In fact, I remember my first professional job just having to pick up the phone and call someone in a professional manner. As you know, you spend hours on the phone, or at least I did as a teenager, talking to my friends. But that first professional phone call I had was really scary. Mm-hmm. The situation is, or what I really want folks to understand is, it is scary, but you want to get over that, become really good at something. And as soon as you master something, a field, a career, or even just being able to talk professionally on the phone, as soon as you master that, you can get over your fears. And I think that's really important. You want to go find something to do that you love doing, master it, and then move on to the next thing.
So as a female leader in a male-dominated industry, what advice do you have for other young women or anyone who feels other, who wants to become a leader in STEM?
I've been very lucky and very blessed in my career, but that's not to say that people haven't kind of tagged me or made some assumption about me because I'm female as opposed to male, which is the majority of the folks in the aerospace industry are male. That's changing, but it is still true even today. I tended to ignore if I felt that there was negativity. I didn't address it head on. I ignored it and said, I'm going to ignore people making judgments about me and just do great work. People will come around. If you're a strong contributor and you're doing great work and you're really adding value to the community as well as your company, people come around and they quit making judgments about you.
So you didn't let their negativity and define you. You kind of pushed to the side and allowed yourself to just rise amongst all that negative energy and chaos around you.
Yeah, you don't want to focus on the negative. It's hard to be positive and do great work when you're really focusing on the negativity. So I would say absolutely ignore it, unless it's something like extreme. And as I said earlier, I've been really blessed. There's never been a really extreme situation. If there's an extreme situation, you need to address it. You need to talk to your boss. You need to talk to human resources. But that's not what this is about, right? This is about putting aside the things that could trip you up, getting through those hurdles, and doing great work.
Fantastic. Well, you have been such a trailblazer. I think of, Katherine Johnson and her contributions to, getting us to space safely and back to the moon, and me riding in the space shuttle. And I just really appreciate everything you're doing to help get people off this planet in a safe and wonderful way. I was at the launch for Crew Dragon, and I was amazing to hear those rockets revving up and taking off to space. I saw you over there with Elon, and you guys were doing your thing, but it was just such a momentous moment. And I think we're going to get that next generation of you, of Elon's, of me, a diverse group of people trying to get off planet. And I know that there's a Scientific American article that came out a while back that said the best solutions come from the most diverse teams. Do you think that that is true in what you see at SpaceX?
There's no question about that. And this is not an opinion. I think this is fact. If you're building and designing complex systems and you're trying to innovate, which means do things differently and better every time, if you only have the same kinds of people working on that project, you're not getting a diverse set of ways to solve the problem. You're not getting a diverse set of challenges that you could face as you're designing and building that system. You absolutely want people to come at solving these hard problems that have different backgrounds, different skills, come from different universities, actually have completely different life experiences. You need that whole collective in order to design a robust, complex system.
Fantastic. I am through the questions, but I have kind of a little lightning round for you if you're game for that.
Okay. I'm not usually good at this, but give it a shot.
You'll be great. I know you'll be great. Okay.
Game begin.
So, what's your favorite color?
Black.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Firefly.
Ooh. Your favorite destination?
Scotland.
Favorite music?
Oh my goodness. Too diverse to discuss, probably, in this quick lightning round.
What about your favorite meal?
Any Mexican food.
If there's a little Gwynne Shotwell out there and she's watching this video and she says, what would be the thing that you say directly to her, maybe just a couple of sentences to keep her charged up and inspired to walk in your shoes or walk further than your shoes?
If you work hard, you can change the world.
Spoken like a true world changer. Gwynne, I just want to say thank you for taking the time today to share your insights with us. And I can't wait to see that next generation of explorers that are going to be walking in your footsteps to maybe start their own company and run a company. And we wish you all the best with the upcoming SpaceX Dragon flights. And we're excited to see what's next for SpaceX and the rising generation of STEM pioneers. Godspeed in your journey, Gwynne. Godspeed.
Thank you, Leland.
Game over.